What's up YouTube, it's your boy Kakashi Crypto. This is how it's going down. In this episode we'll be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, Monero as well. Basically most of the coins on this list, possibly even Tesla if we have enough time.
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I have the money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an overview of the markets and what's going on. So we can see here Bitcoin has been rejected at the 11.5 level, currently trading at around 11.4. Ethereum, something similar as well, got rejected at the $400 mark. But ultimately, in the last 7 days, the top 10 coins have been very, very bullish. Chainlink has, had a nice recovery from its, low of around $7-8. That's like, I don't know, 40-30% roughly. No, probably like 50% recovery, which is very, very good to see. As I have said in the past, if a coin is on discount for like 50 to 70%, that, is a very, very good buying opportunity, regardless of the coin. So long as the fundamentals are there and there's demand for the coin, then you might as well dip your toes in that cryptocurrency water, that sweet cryptocurrency water. Okay, enough of my weird analogies, guys. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys about SSL, Sergey Saves Link. This coin, man, I love it and I hate it. Okay, I've talked about this previously, I think last month. The supply for this coin is very, very low. It's 1.1 thousand. It's a governance coin. It's like to do with DeFi and yield farming, But basically, guys, I'm an idiot, okay? I got this coin maybe around here or around here or so. Yesterday, I was on the train to work and oh man, it's either I laugh or I cry about this, but I thought I'd share it with you guys. I was on the train to work here, and I can't remember what station it was. I think King's Cross. I look at this coin, and then I see it was around here, and then like ever since then it just started to go on the decline. And this is because this coin was listed on CoinGecko, and I guess a whale, a not very intelligent whale, decided to market buy a very high amount. I think they bought around 13 SSL, and that like increased the price rapidly. So if I had, shoulda, coulda, woulda, my name's not Buddha, but just for entertainment purposes, yeah, let's say I was able to sell here, boy. All because I was going to work, guys. So what I'm gonna do from going forward? I'm gonna spend less time at work because this cannot continue to happen. Okay, this is like the second time this has happened to me. But I digress. There's no point talking about potential gains that that could have happened. Ultimately though, when this project does decide to kick into gear, even first gear, second gear, because of the tokenomics, this price is going to rocket, in my personal opinion, as it has done with just one person buying 13 SSL. If you're able to spot moves like this and you're able to sell at these tops here, you can always buy back in on the dips or just take out your initial investment and just continue to ride the wave. But yeah, I just thought I'd share with you my L's. I'm still profitable right now, but a 2x, guys, a 2x. Anyway, looking at today's coins, firstly we'll be going over Bitcoin. So we can see here, guys, I know this is like really, really disorganized, but bear with me, guys. So let me take off the Bollinger Bands. Basically we're looking to flip this level here, 11.5. We have wicked above it several times in the we have wicked above it several times in the past, and we were even trading there during August for several, mainly the whole of August, before we did see our fat dump. But now we're retesting these 11.5 levels again, recently being rejected by it. However, I do believe end of October, most likely mid-November, end of November, that we would have flipped this level as support. I just see it, to be honest, as sort of like where we were here, where we're coming up to test it and then try to flip it as support. It will take several tries. It won't just be just done on one sort of move. It will take several times, and this will also culminate a lot of macro bullish features as well, such as, well, not features but news, such as, you know, big companies like Square buying into Bitcoin, and there's a plethora of other companies as well that I failed to mention, but you guys can like have a look on that on Twitter. But yeah, 11.5 is Bitcoin's, you know, current level of resistance at the moment. Even on the stochastic RSI, they're saying that we're coming into oversold territory. So we have, you know, sort of been, well, not sort of, we have been rejected by this level. So I would sort of expect to see somewhat of the following move, like so, you know, come down to start test these SMAs, and then before we, you know, give it another retest. So yeah, just look out for that in the next couple of weeks. If you guys are trading, I guess wait for the touch on, you know, one of these following lines before going up, but, you know, not financial advice. And then looking at Ethereum, guys, so similar with Ethereum as well. Ethereum did get rejected at the $400 level, and we did go above it for how long? Well, we didn't go above it actually, excuse me, but that is our current level of where we're going to test. So yeah, this red line represents the $400 level, and ultimately, guys, much like with Bitcoin as well, it was a key level for us back in August, and, you know, in the upcoming weeks or so, I do expect us to start testing that level. But ultimately, at the moment, our current level of resistance is the $386 level. So we first need to overcome this level before we can then start to retest the $400 level. Okay, so this is a very beautiful setup, guys. On the weekly, we can see here that the stochastic RSI is coming into the oversold territory. Even though we are seeing, you know, a bullish wick, this means that there is, in my personal opinion, there's more room for the upside on the weekly chart. So in, you know, the next couple weeks or so, as I have said with Bitcoin as well, I would expect us, you know, to first of all start, you know, going into the overbought territory as such, and, you know, I would hope for the price movement to sort of follow its lead as well. It may not be exactly as bullish as this, but ultimately, you know, as we go down to test this level as support, this also would, you know, do a similar thing. Obviously it's not in line, but you guys get what I mean in terms of where the price movement would be, and, you know, how long it would take to play out. So by the end of the year, if this is to sort of play out, then yeah, by the end of the year, I believe Ethereum should hold a sustainable $400 as support. So, you know, if you guys do hold Ethereum, just, you know, stay patient, continue to yield, not yield farm, but if you do have, you know, your Ethereum just sitting there idly, either, in my personal opinion, I would put it in, you know, an interest account on crypto.com where I can just earn, you know, up to 4.5% a year, or just hodl. Those are the two options. But ultimately, guys, you know, in this bull run, it's about making the most amount of money possible. You don't have to put all of your money into one place. You can, you know, sort of diversify it, but you're never financial advice, guys, just me sharing my thoughts on what I'm considering to do. Okay, next up we have Chainlink. So Chainlink as well on the weekly, these coins are, you know, setting up to, you know, in my personal opinion, do very, very well. So Chainlink, after its 70% pullback, it did have a nice rejection from this $7 mark here, and ultimately from this $7 low, we are up around 51%, guys. 51 bloody percent. So if you did buy around here, if I said there was a good time to buy, then, you know, good job on you. Much like all these other coins, I know it's a bit repetitive, but much like these other coins as well, we are in the oversold territory for the RSI, meaning that there is a lot more room for the upside, coupled with the fact that we are yet to test all-time highs of around $20.8 in the next, you know, couple weeks, months, or whatever. I would expect us to start flipping more and more of these levels as support, starting with the $12 mark. Excuse me, guys. Not originally, but in this week or so, we did get rejected at the $12 mark, and we are now floating around the $11.1 mark. But this will be a slow, gradual, you know, incremental move. It won't be a sharp sort of rush overnight, I believe. Going on a more lower time frame, you can see here each day there's a series of bullish wicks followed by some rejection wicks. I can't say how many bullish wicks there will be. However, I just do know that after this rejection wick we may have another red candle. But looking at the stochastic, it would suggest that there is more room for the upside, meaning I don't know, today, tomorrow could be the end of the bearish sentiment, and that we would go on to firstly test this pivot here of 11.2, and then after that go up to this $12 mark or so, and ultimately just sort of use it as support. So potentially, I don't know, something like this, or potentially start to increasingly go above this level of support here before coming down to retest it, and then possibly wicking below to this pivot here of $11.2, and then ultimately continuing to go on and test higher highs, incrementally testing different levels of resistance and support, one being the 13.2 and then the 14 point whatever. But this would be over by the end of the year. Basically, I would expect this oh my god, by the end of the year I would expect this sort of bullish price action to play out. So yeah, just hold on to your bags, guys, don't worry too much. Looking at CRO, so guys, looking at CRO, this is my personal opinion, what I believe to be our current trend line. However, this could get invalidated at any time. This line is quite steep, and I don't believe it will be able to continue as steep as it has been doing. Also, I have seen as well on the crypto.com app then that they are no longer providing 16% APY. I believe that was just an introductory offer, excuse me, to get as many people in on the crypto.com coin as possible, and this as such was represented by this crazy increase in price. I don't know when the 16% APY for the crypto.com coin was offered and initiated, but let's say it's started from here. This would mean sort of its bullish expansion, its S adoption curve of the usability for the app has sort of not seen its peak, but it's sort of topped out for the time being. Ultimately, when a company does when it stops its promotional offers, it sort of means that it's sort of done with this promotional phase, and they have acquired a lot of customers. I can't state the amount of customers that crypto.com have, but if you guys are to do some independent research, I'm sure you'll see that they have gained a lot of usability. But having said that, looking at these key levels here, we are below what is this super bullish trend line here, and we have tested several times. We have tested this green area of resistance here at the 14.5 cent mark, and I can't say as to whether we'll continue to trade sideways or we'll go on to set new higher highs, considering the fact that they have stopped, or they are stopping, their 16% APY. These factors sort of come into play, and it's hard to really say where this is going. Ultimately though, I hope you guys did enjoy the 16.5% gains on your crypto.com that you could stake for up to 3 months. It was nice while it lasted. But yeah, this is what we do in crypto. This is why I have to look for the best yield. If you guys are interested in high percentage APY interest for your coins, then I would have a look on Celsius as well. I'm gonna make a video on them. I'm gonna sort of cover them. It's basically like crypto.com, but they're in their infancy stages. I believe the market cap is around 460 million or so. Don't quote me on that, it's just a rough estimate, but that's a tenth of the size of crypto.com. So therefore, it means that there's a lot more potential for upside. It could go 10x in terms of the market cap, not necessarily in terms of the price, that is a possibility, but in terms of the market cap, it could go up to 10x. And I'll try to cover them as well in today's video. It'll be a bit long, and yeah, It won't be the sexiest video, guys, but I just want to give you an overview of all of these different coins. Ultimately, if you are holding, you know, a crypto.com stake, consider whether that is the best usage of your funds at this moment of time, as you know, there are other high yielding interest platforms that you can use. But yeah, I don't want to be too repetitive, so that's all I'll say on crypto.com. Yeah, that's all I'll say. But the price speaks for itself, guys. Upwards price movement, a couple pullbacks, you know, testing this level here. Will we go on to set new highs? Who knows? MACD is oversold. There is a lot of room for the upside. As with other coins, you know, yeah, that's that. Next we have Polkadot. So Polkadot as well. So there isn't enough data on this coin for there to be price action, or not price action, but you know, statistical graph data on the stochastic RSI. But looking at the key levels that I did highlight previously in the month of September, we have seen one wick here in October at this price level here of 3.7 cent, and ever since then we have seen a token price appreciation as follows of 18%, and that was in the bearish phase of the pullback, which was the whole crypto market wide. That didn't make sense. That was in the bearish that was during the bearish sentiment where, you know, the whole crypto market sort of crashed temporarily. Ultimately, guys, you know, we are starting to see the SSMA and also the weighted moving average start to appear. So this would indicate our sort of a fair valued line on the weekly chart, that is. So currently we are sort of undervalued. If you did want to buy in on this coin at the moment, it wouldn't be a bad idea, as you know, as I said, we are undervalued. However, guys, as always, it's always good to buy in on a red candle. Doesn't mean you're not going to make money if you buy on this green here. It just means that your percentage gains won't be as high, and you're incurring more risk when you buy at these sort of levels here. But not the end of the world. You can see here, guys, we sort of had not really a double bottom and not really an inverse head and shoulders, but for the most part, I would say that there was sort of a diagonal level of resistance here, which we did, you know, shoot it out of, sort of, you know, followed by the wicks on this level of resistance here, and we didn't come back to retest it. We've retested the moving averages, but it's good. We're holding steady on these moving averages, and I would hope for this to continue, and then for us to go on and set, you know, higher highs or just trade sideways. It depends on what the Polkadot ecosystem is planning to do. There is a lot of, you know, stuff in the works for the Polkadot ecosystem. This coin, although it has been around for a while, they're sort of strategically placed in the market in terms of, you know, how they sort of popped up out of nowhere sort of thing, and they are planning to sort of overtake Ethereum, which they are, I believe, well on track to do, as they have got several coins in the ecosystem already, and they are planning, you know, several different revolutionary ideas in the crypto space, such as interoperability between several, you know, different platforms, and then also a Uniswap competitor as well, which I believe is called Polkadot. But that is all, you know, 1 year from now, guys. I can't speak as to what the price will be 1 year from now. I just know that we are extremely early, and I'm going to look at Bitcoin on the macro level as well, just to reaffirm, you know, everything that I'm saying to you guys. Next up, we have SXP, and this is against the BTC pairing. So SXP has been a bit of a disappointment. We did have this descending wedge here, which we broke out of, and it by no means was, you know, a super bullish breakout. It sort of did get rejected at this pivot here of 17,000 satoshis, which I don't know how much dollars that is. You guys would have to look at the dollar chart. Ultimately, I was hoping for us to hold this green area of support, or this green box of support here at, you know, the 13,000 satoshi level. We did get rejected by this, and we are currently undervalued, trading below many moving averages and also this area of support, and we are back to where we were at the point of the breakout of the descending wedge. There aren't many key levels here in terms of support and resistance. I would have thought that this would have held as a level of support. However, most likely, not to quote me here, but maybe some SXP whales have decided to sell so they could accumulate at a lower level. I would have to look into more of what's going on in the SXP ecosystem, whether they do have any upcoming events. I do know recently that they integrated, I believe, Google Pay and was it Apple Pay or some other form of payment on their card and their platform. So yeah, I'm surprised that this has not seen any bullish action. But yeah, looking at the stochastic RSI, we are still in bearish territory, yet to go into the completely oversold mark. Ultimately, this coin is a bit of an anomaly. I am perplexed. If you are an SXP holder, then I would sort of just hold tight. I don't think it's going to go to zero, but at the same time, this coin hasn't really followed typical TA price structure and price movement. I would say for now, keep an eye on this level here at the 10,830 Satoshi level. We did wick there twice. I'm looking at the weekly just to give it a bit more of a macro view here. So yeah, currently this is, I would say, is our level of support. We did wick there several times on the weekly. I'm hoping we don't go below the perforated line, and we continue to trade sideways before then going to set new higher highs. Just a bit weird really that this coin did not sustain any key levels here. I would have thought that this would have been a key level, this green box here, but don't mean to keep on rambling or going on about the same thing. Okay guys, so next we have Ampleforth. I know I didn't mention it in the video initially, but looking at it, it is undervalued. So Ampleforth, whoa. So just in one day alone, Ampleforth has gone from around 73 cent to 82 cent. And as I said guys, this is always, not always, this is a rebase token, so its inherent value is always $1. So whether it's undervalued or overvalued, will always retrace or pump to $1. Currently, I believe we could be in the midst of the next pump to $1. However, do not quote me on that. But we have seen, in the past here, when it was undervalued below both EMAs and the below the SMMA and the WMA, that it did pump up until the green area here, which is at the $1 mark, and ultimately we could be having history repeat itself. We didn't go into the oversold on the stochastic RSI, however, that wouldn't necessarily stop it from going up to test these levels. But having said that, it could mean that we sort of do get rejected and then come back down to sort of test these levels here. In the past, we have seen resistance at this level, this $83 level, or 83 cent level, sorry, as represented here, and here. But you guys get where I'm going with this. View this as like a medium to sort of short-term play. Continue to DCA into this coin, and then when it does eventually go up to $1, you can look to sell. And a good place to sort of have a limit order would would be on KuCoin. However, I would sort of be skeptical with KuCoin because recently they did have a sort of a hack. I do believe all user funds were refunded. However, just the fact that there was a hack recently would sort of put a sour taste in my mouth. So yeah, be cautious, guys. Ultimately, if you do not want to buy on KuCoin, you can buy it on Uniswap. But with Uniswap, there is, you know, high slippage, well, not slippage fees, but there are fees associated with that, and there is no limit order. You'd have to keep an active eye on the market, so that's the downside. Or penultimately, we have Tezos, guys. So Tezos has had a lovely price movement, and now potentially would be a good time to enter. So looking at Tezos, it had a somewhat double bottom at this $2 level here. Let's just say $2 for argument's sake. It is in the oversold territory on the stochastic RSI, meaning that, you know, it could come down to test this trend line even further, or potentially, you know, basically the area of, you know, testing, I believe, would be in this sort of range here, which coincides with sort of the you know, the diagonal resistance line that I drew out a couple of weeks ago. But we have had a breakout from, you know, this downwards resistance line. I wouldn't say this is an inverse head and shoulder. You could say that, but I personally wouldn't say that, because I don't know, I don't trade much. I'm more so an investor, but I would expect us to hold this between the S1 level of support for, you know, the last day or so, which was, well, not the last day, the last week or so, sorry, which was around the $2.30 mark, all the way down in the most bearish scenario to the $2.10 mark. Anywhere in between this range here, before then going on to sort of test newer highs. As with all these other coins, guys, I do believe, yep, it's oversold on the weekly. We haven't seen we just about see a bullish crossover with the blue line going over the orange line. This means, as I have said previously, that there is a lot more room for upside here. You can see on the weekly that it still hasn't fully broken out of this downwards resistance line, so it's now a good time to enter. Well, according to the stochastic RSI, yes. According to the daily chart, yes. If you wanted to enter on the weekly, it would have been a good time to enter here. However, as I said previously, with, you know, all these altcoins and their retracements, anywhere from a -50 to a, you know, -70% retracement is always a good time to enter. Does it mean that entering now won't see good return on investment? No, that is not the case at all, as this coin has sort of a cyclical nature. As we saw here, it's sort of similar to, you know, where we currently are now, having a crazy retracement. Even though this was in the March crash, it had a crazy retracement all the way down to these levels here, before then going up to test new levels of resistance, flipped support. So if this is to play out like it did around 6-7 months ago, then I would see us coming up to test these levels here. As I have previously said, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but yeah, this next level of support, this next level of resistance flip support would be the $2.50 to $2.48 mark. And then, yeah, I would expect us to start setting, you know, new higher highs. When it does, you know, go on a tear, Tezos does have, you know, quite a few bullish candles. You know, in the past we have seen 8 candles here, that's off the top of my head, 4 candles here, and then, you know, somewhat 5-6 candles here, although we did have a pullback. But you guys sort of catch my drift where we're going with this. Not to say that it's guaranteed, but if we do break out, then yeah, I do believe that will sort of happen, especially with November in my personal opinion, when the election, not my personal opinion, when the election has been decided and there is a new president, then, you know, Trump has said if he wins that he will then look to make a new stimulus bill, and that will definitely 100,000% pump the crypto markets as well as traditional stock markets, like we have seen in the past. You know, like we could see very, very nice potential gains. So when that does happen, I'll keep you guys updated. Lastly, guys, we have Tesla. So Tesla, this coin, oh sorry, it's not even a coin, it's it is a stock, but yeah, Tesla, guys, you should keep your eyes on Tesla, to be honest. eventually we'll have to diversify, and Tesla is a good bet in my opinion, because it's more than an Tesla is a good bet in my opinion because it's more than a manufacturer. It's a breakthrough technology energy company, and they're looking to disrupt all energy sectors, whether it be automotive, aeroplane sector, even the energy sector. With the plans that they are considering in the long term, it's actually crazy. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but basically once they've secured their 1,000,000-mile battery, boy, that would just be crazy. Okay, because they have plans to do many different other things like energy arbitrage. From what I've seen, Elon Musk wants to create a supersonic e-jet. So this guy, like, I know I've said this in the past, but he's like stony talk in real life. Like, mate, if you get in on Tesla stock before it does that craziness, yeah, I'm lost for words. Okay, I'm lost for words. But just looking at the monthly for Tesla, Jesus Christ. So on the monthly, guys, it does seem that it is oversold. So maybe not the best time to buy Tesla stock, as it could and most likely will retrace to these levels of the moving averages. However, we have seen in the past that Tesla stock, even though it did retrace to the moving averages, maybe the moving averages sort of adjusted to where the price action was, meaning that we could potentially sustain these levels here. These moving averages would move up as follows. Potentially, this is not guaranteed, but move up as follows, and then we would go on to test and touch them, simply because of us maintaining this sort of price action. So are we overvalued for Tesla? Possibly. However, with all of the fundamental and innovative ideas that they're continuously bringing to the world, I don't believe that we'll see a market-wide crash for Tesla. At the worst case, we'll see something like we did in September here, where we retraced from like 500 all the way down to 300 here. However, this dip did get bought up heavily by investors and most likely traders alike. So just keep your eyes on Tesla, guys. Don't just be in the crypto space, and do keep your eyes on good stocks that you do believe will do good in the long run. Having said that, Tesla, I do believe their earnings report is coming up, and that will be October, as it says here on TradingView. There was an article I read stating that Tesla has now been announced profitable, and this was back somewhere in this region. So if they do announce that the earnings reports, and it is good, or as good as people expect it to be, then I would expect these price levels to sort of be maintained, and for it to go on to test new higher highs, and for the moving averages to follow the price movement as opposed to the price retracing to the moving averages. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope. Before we go, Monero. I did say I was going to cover this, so let's talk about it. Previously, I did sort of say that Monero has its own sort of price action, and previously I did sort of say that Monero has its own sort of trajectory and price action during these bull markets, and has sort of a steady incline when other coins are sort of going into their own sort of downward spiral. We have seen previously, from the March crash, which was here, Monero has had a steady incline. Even in the bearish sentiment in September, this coin only had a retracement of a small pullback of around, how much is this, 20%. In comparison, some coins retrace 70%, 50%, like 60%. This coin, I do believe, will continue to go on to set new higher levels. So where is it going? I can't say exactly, but looking at the weekly, I do believe, you know, current levels now, they are, you know, facing resistance. I guess maybe the R2 level here of around $151 would be, you know, our current price target. We have seen sort of a lot of trading in this sort of range here. Ultimately, yeah, but anywhere between 150 and 130 is where I would expect Monero to sort of to go. So this would be these current levels here, before, you know, coming down to retest the R2, and then, you know, going on to either trade sideways or trade higher. As I have stated, guys, I do believe this cryptocurrency bull market will be, you know, an elongated one, and it won't just be, you know, a short price increase as we have seen in the past. I do believe it would take, you know, several months, if not years, for us to sort of firstly test and reach, you know, the recent, or not recent, but the all-time highs, before then possibly going on to set newer heights. So yeah, always be diversified, guys. That's been the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, smash the like button, smash subscribe as well, and yeah, I'm out. Peace.